Okay, another chaotic video here. I was hoping I could do this in one single weekend. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here editing this 2 months later. Also, again, I forgot to film a bunch of stuff. Nothing new. But I get this tractor working, and that's what you probably came here to see, so enjoy. Alright, well, I really need a new video. Bad. I just bought this yesterday. All I know is that it should run. It just doesn't want to crank too well. I'm just going to see how fast I can fix this up. Try and get it fixed up over the weekend. Saturday morning. Just see how far I can get with this. I've had a crazy idea to swap it to a hydro and then use that manual for something else. But we'll just see how that goes. I think I have everything I need to put this back together and make it operational. I'm just going to go through everything I've noticed so far. Number one, it's an IC, obviously, with the intact shroud, so that's interesting. We got oil leak after oil leak here. I think the guy said that he had to pull the motor out to replace the camshaft. Not because the compressor release was bad, but because the lobe on it was bad. So, don't know what I think about that. Got an aftermarket carb on it. It came with the original Nicky carb, but it's missing the fuel solenoid. I got a wobber I could throw on, so I'm just going to do that if I need to. Spindles on the mower deck. They're not brand new, but they're not that old either. It is one of the more modern mower decks that uses a cable to engage the blade, which sucks. Not really in too bad a shape, honestly. I mean, it's got some rust on the dash, but nothing major. The hood, it's got a small crack down there, but I can fix that up no problem. With a little steel wool, I can make that shiny again. The back panel's pretty shiny. There's no dents anywhere. There's plenty of scratches, but overall, I'm happy with this. Transmission feels good. Feels like all the gears are there. Interesting wheels on the back of this. I imagine those would actually grip pretty well. I got another discharge chute I can put on if I feel like it. That's bent pretty bad, but I can straighten that up a little bit. Don't lift these mowers. Don't put a jack under these mowers and lift it by that. That's terrible. It breaks them all the time. That's messed up a lot. But enough talking. Let's see if I can get this thing to crank. I'm thinking, it feels like it has a lot of compression. I mean, a lot. I'm thinking what that is if you had to take the camshaft out and replace it, there's a chance the valves aren't adjusted because there's a new valve cover gasket there. There's a chance also the starter gear is most certainly getting bound up in the flywheel, but regardless, yeah, it's got a lot more compression than I think it should. So I'm going to look and see if those valves are adjusted right, and then we'll see if it'll crank. Yeah, I think I found the problem. Definitely. Yeah, that's not right. Alright, so I got the valves adjusted like they should. If I can get it to start. I just remember I got a big fuel leak over here at this, whatever. Turn the fuel valve off so it would stop, but I need to see if I can get that aftermarket carb to stop leaking fuel. So we're going into the cylinder. Interesting scratch I can see on the piston right there from the start. Not that much carbon. Crosshatch. Not very much crosshatch. Well, there's a little bit right there. What are the odds this has been rebuilt? I'll have to get the shroud off, kind of look at the head gasket and a couple other things, see if I can get an idea if it's been completely apart. Also, I don't know if I showed this, but there was a lot of crap in this valve cover. And there's a decent amount of crap on these valves, fingerprints. I mean, some of that's for me, obviously, but not all of it is. All right, let's see if it cranks any better. Come on, you. Stupid brake starters. Okay, time out. What is going on here? I have never seen that before. Alright, I don't think it takes professional to know that this really ain't how this should look. Don't even get me started on the smell. So this starter was shot. Okay. New old starter that I already deemed bad, but let's see if it can crank it. Great, here we go with this crap. It's got still like infinite compression. On you. One chance we get. If any. Is this bad? Yes. Am I surprised? No. Much, much better. It's just not going to do it without that fuel solenoid working. So let me see if I've got another. Well, that's not exactly what I was expecting. It's been cut off. That explains why it was running so funky. Ugh. Alright, so I think this thing's at the point where I feel like it's good enough I can swap the hydro into here. So I was looking at it. I'm probably going to have to swap out the shifter bar that runs across here. I've never done that. I've never taken one out. So we'll just see how that goes. The transmission I'm putting in here is going to have bigger wheels on it. And they're rusted stuck to the shaft, so I can't get them off. So this thing will just have bigger wheels on the back. It'll still sit level, don't worry. I'll make sure of that. I just have to swap these over. Well, that sucked, but it's done. Now I just got to get the other mower up in here, which probably can't happen for about 4 days, but that's how it goes. Well, boy, that really sucked, but here's the transmission. Well, that's the transmission that's going in this. The neutral stick is completely froze, so the wheels were fighting me tooth and nail, if it isn't obvious looking at them right now. But yeah, it's in here. Now I gotta record 2 more clips for other videos. Well, I got this thing up here. Kind of didn't really record much. I got the back panel off, gas tank out. I'm taking the transmission out, and like I saw before, just forgot about, neither one of these front trans mounts were on. That one's at least bolted to the frame. This one wasn't even tight to the frame, really. These back here were a little loose, not gonna lie. So yeah, that's nice, knowing that I was driving with the transmission barely even bolted in. This has come to a screeching halt. I thought this was just simply not bolted in, but no. Apparently, that bolt is broke off. That means I gotta get this wheel off, or I'm gonna have to get some really debauched stuff to get this trans bolted in here. But the back mounts are in, at least. It's relatively okay-ishly in here. I'm gonna have to switch this bar over like I thought. I hope I can do that. I think I can. Just gonna be a pain to get it adjusted and whatnot, but yeah. So apparently you are able to take these shifters out. Actually pretty easy, honestly. I'm amazed. Of course, you know, Craftsman designed all of it originally, so that makes sense. Yeah. Let me just put this one in here and that one in there, and then we're good to go. Alright, problem solved. I'm dead. As you can see by the metal shavings, some debauchery went on here. I had to deflate this tire so I could get the drill to go at this straight, because there was no getting this wheel off. Basically, I just drilled all the way through because there was no getting that bolt out, and put a bolt through on the other side. It looks a little bad, it doesn't look great, but it'll work fine because transmission's in here solid now. I got the shifter in here on both of them. I got the transmission in the other one. There's still a whole lot more to do. I just can't do today. And I know I didn't film much either, but I had a surprise, I probably said this already, but I had a surprise visit from someone who needed a pressure washer fixed. It was just the main jet in the bottom of the carb needed cleaned, and then it ran perfect. It did allow me to at least test it by cleaning this up. So, yeah. So I'm working on getting the drive belt on and just getting everything sorted on that. And I turned the deck upside down and just noticed this gaping hole in it. That's not the only thing I found wrong. That one's for a spring, don't worry about that one. There's some really interesting dents or something here. I don't know what they did there. Like torn right there. So I don't know why that happens in mower decks, but it does. This deck has seen some really interesting abuse. And they kind of sharpen the mower blades on the wrong side. I mean, I guess it would work, but it's not right. So, yeah, I got some other ones I can put on that are not brand new, but much, much better than these. These have been sharpened quite a few times. I don't understand how that even happens. Beyond me. But not really anything that you could do about it without a welder. And I don't have a welder. So, yeah. It'll be fine as it is. Alright, these are by no means perfect, but obviously they're significantly better. This is the return spring for the tensioner, and I'm sure that that's not going to break off anytime soon. Yeah, I'm going to see if I have a new spring to put on. That's good enough. By the way, all the grease is me trying to make sure this doesn't get stuck, because these commonly get stuck, and the mower decks just get stuck engaged, and you got to turn the tractor off and get in here and clean all that out. So yeah, I'm just trying to make sure that doesn't happen to some person. Well, I got a different discharge chute off of another mower. Well, the original one from Frankenstein Craftsman. Anyhow, this one has a mount for the bagger chute on it. Little curved piece right there, which this one doesn't have. And this one's, you know, not torn up, and I can make the spring actually keep it down, unlike this one because someone welded it together. So, you know, I'll get this on. Alright, so I got the shifter thing off and bent. I had to clean it up because it didn't want to come off. But anyhow, it doesn't hit the frame and it moves as far as it should now. So, yeah, I'm ready to reassemble this. I'm probably going to have to adjust that over there in order for it to drive as much as it should. And I might have to take that off again and kind of adjust it some down there. But I should be able to get the back panel back on and drive it finally. Well, it's the next day, and I'm actually going to change directions a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and swap this Walbro carb on here, because, well, it's a Walbro. It's going to be significantly better than both a Nicky and whatever that aftermarket carb is. That runs, kind of, but this will obviously work a lot better. I've rebuilt this in the past, like before I put it on the shelf a couple of weeks ago, so it's ready to go. Funny just how much a machine can change just by just running better. This thing seemed like an absolute pile of crap before, but now that it actually runs half decent, it seems like it's ready to sell already. So I'm gonna go put the back panel back on, go get the triple bagger, and then we're gonna go bag some leaves with this thing. I just tried to start it up to move it out here so I can fit that in there, but it's blowing black smoke and then it died and it won't start up as if it's not getting fuel. I turned the fuel off to see if the float was letting too much fuel in. But now it acts like it's got no fuel. Make up your dang mind. Can't believe a Walbro carb actually failed me. Please fire though. I do not want to have to drag this back inside tonight. Let's see if there's any even fuel. Let's see if there's even any fuel in this bowl. If I can ever get the wrench on here. What the crap. There we go. Yeah, one thing I don't like about Walbro is that they're metric, but of course it's really just the bowl nut that matters. What are your bets? No fuel, or plenty of fuel but horrifically dirty, or I don't know. Sunk float. I'm no fuel, like at all. Jeez. Huh. Nothing. What the hell's the green stuff in there? What in the world? Sorry about that. This was not like this when I cleaned this. Okay. The real question, if I turn the fuel on, does it come out? No, it does not. Oh, there we go. The float was stuck. This is a whole lot better. So if I turn the fuel on, when the float's up, it stops. But when it actually goes down, and lets fuel in now. So it's good. So I'll finish cleaning the green slime out of this, and we'll try it again. Fingers crossed. Dang it. Crap, that was probably all the battery I had left, and I wasted it. Because it backfired. Please. I've decided I'm going to be as stubborn as humanly possible, and this thing is going to drive back into the workshop whether it wants to or not. But obviously I got to switch batteries because this one's dead. Yeah, come on. Alright, maybe this works a little better, but I don't like to admit it. These battery terminals are a little warm. I couldn't imagine why. Come on, you little prick. Loosen up. So, while I'm doing this, something that really didn't take a lot of brain power, okay, maybe it does. Dang it. What was I going to say? I don't even remember. That orange tractor that you saw in an earlier clip, I'm planning to make that a mud mower. Thing is, I got to cut the rims. I got some bigger tires on the front, but I got to cut the rims to make them fit. So the front's getting jacked up a bunch, and I need to modify the trans mounts to just raise the back end up with the tires that are on it. Well, I still put bigger ones on already, but yeah. Okay. Goodbye, Super Start. And hello, Continental Garden Tractor. I don't even know where these come from, but so many of the tractors that I've bought have these in them, and they have never, ever failed me. This is going to be another example. I need to flip it around. That. Oh, that's the negative. Alright, I put a new crush washer on this fuel solenoid, and I put a fuel solenoid on, so let's see how it runs now. That's not the same exact one that was on this carb. It's a slightly different style, so we'll see if that still works. This thing's about to get cleaned up. I mean, obviously it's not going to look a whole lot different, but at least this bagger will, that's for sure. Good grief. Well, this thing certainly needed an oil change. Alright, got all the old gasket scraped off and got the new one on. It's currently drying, or the RTV's. Just gonna want to let it set for a little bit. Gonna go ahead and clean out the sump just a little bit more, because why not? I'm in here. Put some RTV on it, put it on, and torque it to spec, and then put it back in the tractor. Alright, well, I've run it a little bit, moved it in and out of here a little bit to clean up the floor. So I'm going to go ahead and flush this oil out. It can't hurt. I mean, I'm willing to admit I got a little bit of RTV on the camshaft. So, yeah, this ain't going to hurt. Let me put the camera down, though, so that way I can do this without making a mess. I lost my tripod. Okay, there we go. So, yeah, not bad. Alright, well, I've got this Comet wash here. I'm out cleaning this thing again before I put the mower deck back on. Wanted to get all the grease out from underneath the frame. Anyhow, I want to see what this Comet wash can do. I've seen it be used on paint before and it does really good. I don't know if there's enough paint here to really do anything, but I'm going to try it just for the heck of it. Okay. The Comet actually seemed to help a little bit. It's already got pollen on it, but it's not too bad. I think back here, this back panel is where it really helped. All this. Got rid of a couple of those stains. So, just putting the mower deck back on. Motor's still running good. I still can't figure out what that bloody valve tick is, but maybe that's just a thing with these ICs, because the last one I had did it. I don't know if I've ever heard of one that didn't. You all tell me if there's anything I can do in the comments, because I might still upload this video before I sell this. Anyhow, let me get this mower deck chute back on, and whenever there's some grass to cut, I'll cut some grass with this. Finally, because really there hasn't been any to do with it. Well, basically I built this tractor, and it's been doing pretty much nothing for a little while, because I've been super busy with a bunch of other stuff. But now there's finally some grass to cut and some things to do with this. So let's get the grass cutting. And I was editing some of the footage and I realized I hardly even explained what I was doing, pulling the motor out. I mean, you know, it's obvious to fix that oil leak, which I don't even know if I mentioned, but that oil leak, I'm pretty sure, is gone. Aside from all the bloody pollen everywhere, it's perfectly clean under here. So that worked. I'll wash this again once the pollen stops. It's just everywhere right now. Oil's good. Alright. Let's go kick some grass. Let's see if it starts. Hopefully it does. It's been sitting for like 2 weeks, I think, so good reliability test. Not bad. Once again, the stupid tripod is limiting the height that I can get, but oh well. Something that I'm looking at fixing, which has been bothering me, I'm putting a new air filter in. Get this latch on with one hand. Come on. Newer filter. Yeah. Thank you. This tire looks like the spindle or whatever you call it is bent. This one does it a little bit, but it's not as bad. I have some spindles. I just don't know if they'd fit this axle, but it might be worth putting them in, or at least one of them. I'll look at it a little bit longer and see what I think. But otherwise, it cut just fine yesterday. There's still not a whole lot to cut. And it's still mostly just all the clover and weeds that are coming back, but oh well. Still no oil looks like, actually. Interesting. It is, well, it feels perfectly dry, so maybe it's okay. Huh. That's not ideal. Now this is much more respectable. This is also one of the thicker cast iron ones. It doesn't look stronger, but trust me, it is. It's not as strong as what you would find on, well, or what I swapped in a Frankenstein Craftsman, but it's certainly one of the tougher axles out there, so yeah, this will bolt straight in place. Okay, so you can see kind of how that seems to be bent down a little bit compared to this axle. There's a ton of space up there. I could probably fix that axle with a couple washers, but that's not the right way to do it, especially when I have this right here to put in there, so that's what I'm gonna do. All right, new axle's in, and as you can see, that wheel is sitting much better now, and the steering is a little easier. Why? Don't know, but it is. Just gotta grease it now and put that cap back on, and then we're good to go. Stupid tripod causing problems yet again. That's actually a decent load. I can't do this with one hand. I think I'm gonna call that good for this little tractor. You know, motor's working just fine, trans is working just fine, bagger works good. I don't even know if I ever mentioned it, but I had a seat from an MTD that I threw on. That's in mint condition. Tires are holding air. New axle's working great. Steering is even a decent amount tighter. So, yeah. Might still throw a headlight harness in here. I think I have one. I'll, of course, clean it up again, but that will be a while because Paulin ain't nowhere near done. But I think I'm going to end this video here. Thanks for watching. Oh, and by the way, I finally got a new tripod.